8 down and 2 to go in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. A mere 30 points separates the top two contenders. Jeff Gordon trails his teammate Jimmy Johnson. Now, Gordon won the last time we were at this racetrack, and the most asked question this weekend is, can Gordon catch Johnson? Well, 15 times this season over the course of 2 races, Gordon has outscored Johnson by 30 or more points. But to make things more difficult, he'll have to catch a streaking Jimmy Johnson, who has won the last 3 races. Jimmy Johnson is red hot in this year's chase for the Nextel Cup. 3 times he has led the points and 3 times he's driven to victory lane. But as he drives for a repeat championship, he has one of the best in the business in his rearview mirror. Whether it be by luck in the pits or on the racetrack, Johnson and his team have found a way to win, and there are no signs that he will let up anytime soon. Off the truck here in Phoenix, Johnson's car has been very good. Johnson has finished second twice here at Phoenix, but never won, and any type of a top 5 finish here could make things awfully hard on teammate Gordon in Miami.
Glad to have you with us. 10 former Phoenix winners, 7 former Cup champions. 1 step closer to crowning a champion. Could it happen today? Could it be a big change today? Green flag waves as Carl Edwards moves into turn 1. Gordon starting third and slides right up in the 3rd spot. On his mind, right off the bat, one thing, he's got to get up there.
Absolutely, he's got to get up there and get the 5 points, get a bonus out of something here. He's going to try to get a crown Martin Truex Jr. as quick as he can, and also Carl Edwards. He's got to run this thing like it's a qualifying lap right now, Andy. Get some points, that's what's got to be on his mind.
Yeah, he can't just start this race like a normal race. He's got to push hard. He's got to push really hard until he can try to get those 5 points. A lot of times you can just sit back and kind of wait for the race to come to you, but he's up there, he's in a good spot to try to go after these points. I'm sure he can drive this thing hard as he can right here.
Folks, tire pressures on these tires are coming up right now. The car's a little bit ill-handling right now at the moment. They got about 12 pounds of air in the left-hand sides, about 30 pounds of air in the right side. And it's going to take a while, Andy, for the pressure to get up, where the handling gets better and better. Yeah,
we just saw one of the cars go in the corner there and lock up the left front wheel. Those tires are really not up to temperature and pressure yet, and that's why these guys are probably going to maybe lock up those brakes, and you may see some smoke here early.
2 by 2 back in the race, back in the pack. Of course, Jeff Gordon third, Jimmy Johnson, who leads the points, back in 5th position. Here's the 31 car of Jeff Burton hanging back there. The 9 car of Casey Kane. Burton now on the move.
Guys, we talked earlier in our show about how close this racetrack is to a track like New Hampshire, a pretty flat course. The tire that's on these cars right now are exactly the same as they had at New Hampshire. We all know how good Jeff Burton was there and how good Clint Boyer is also at that track.
Jeff Burton, a 2-time winner here, and we talked to Richard Childress last night. He said when Jeff Burton qualifies that well and is that good in happy hour, look out for the 31 car.
I talked to his crew chief, Scott Miller, this morning down there. He said that it felt like they were going to be pretty good, but this car tomorrow has been so finicky. He says he's almost afraid to predict how they're going to be, but they sure looked good in practice yesterday.
48 car, Jimmy Johnson trying to make the pass. He started 6th, he's now in 5th, and now he's in 4th.
Yeah, he's got a strike too, Jerry. He knows he wants to get up there on these fresher tires, and if he's got a better car, he wants to drive this baby right to the front. No being careful right now. I mean, yeah, he's driving careful, but he wants the points at the same time.
Rusty Wallace, you said #1 focus on Jimmy Johnson's mind is to keep an eye on the 24 car, and all he's got to do right now is look out that front windshield.
Yeah, right now he's got him in his gun sights. He wants to pass him. He wants to pick a position up, and Jamie, these two are going to be going at it right off the bat. You can tell that.
They really are going to be going at it, but Chad Knaus came over the radio just as the race started and told Jimmy, hey, you're on the same tires from qualifying. Now, if you're slow a little bit on this start and guys start passing you, don't be alarmed. They're on sticker tires, so he's warning his driver. He's on older tires. We watched Jimmy Johnson, who's gained 1 position since the start.
One thing they're talking about right there is the top 10 qualifiers start on scuff tires. They've qualified on, run a couple laps. These other guys can start on stickers. And so, believe it or not, that can actually be a little bit of an advantage at the beginning of the race.
Here's the 07 car, our in-race reporter Clint Boyer, who started back in 20th position. He has now already moved up 4 spots. And the last night discussions, and we were at the hotel talking to some of his crew, Richard Childress. They said they were not very good in the final practice session because they had changed the trailing arms. They were very good early today, and they were going to go back to what was good early in the early practice on Saturday.
Well, that's what these practice sessions are all about, is throw things at the car, see what works, what doesn't work, and then go back and put your best package under the car. That's just good business right there, and you never quit trying to find that advantage.
Andy, there was many times when I raced that I would never go out there and get a real fast lap or in practice really good, but what I did know was that I tried this and this worked, I tried that, this did not work. We would go back and assemble all that together and pick out the best of everything, and then in our mind, we knew we had a good car. Nobody else probably knew it, but we knew it.
You don't have to prove it in practice. You got to prove it out here in the race.
Yeah, absolutely, Doc. As I was talking last night to Richard Childress, I was asking about the predicament that Clint Bowyer's in. He said, hey, let me tell you something, Fred. We are tickled to death with Clint Bowyer's year, his season, and where he's at right now. And we're hoping for a miracle, but this young man has had an outstanding season, and he has. We need to remember that Clint Bowyer got his first win in the chase, and right now he does sit third, even though he's a ways away, but he is in position to have an opportunity.
Yeah, this car here we talked about is the one he won with at New Hampshire. Not only did he win, he spanked them. He opened up a can on the competition. He led 222 laps. Now, how about the 20 car? He was awfully good here in the spring. Alan Bester.
Yeah, he only won the race here back in April, Doc. Got passed by Jeff Gordon in the late going and wound up finishing just behind him. This team not very happy with this car's performance in practice yesterday. So they worked a lot on getting the rear end to stick underneath it for Tony Stewart. Tony has driven 6 different types of cars here. He told his team just a little while ago, we may be out of the championship, but we sure can win these last 2 races this year.
Tony Stewart led 132 laps here back in April and finished second to Jeff Gordon. Looks like he is trying to start making his move now about the inside of the 17 that Kenseth now pulls up behind KCK. 11 of 312 laps are in the books. And pole sitter Carl Edwards has led all 11 laps thus far. It is Edwards, Truex, and then our 2 points contender, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson in 3rd and 4th. J.J. Yaley is 5th.
With the duel in the desert, the second to last race in the chase for the Nextel Cup. The story in the Pepsi Race Rundown. And pole sitter Carl Edwards off to such a solid start. First time that Carl has ever led a race at Phoenix. He led the first 87 laps, but Carl, like the next 7 drivers following him, eliminated from chase contention as soon as Jimmy Johnson, the points leader, started the race, and that's the story of the chase. Teammates Johnson and Jeff Gordon came in separated by just 30 points. They can't play it safe, and Gordon was the first one to take a chance.
Yeah, he struck first. Jeff comes in. He's going to try to get some fresh tires on that car. He's trying to advance his position. He needs to lead some laps today in order to get those 5 bonus points. So he has to come in. He's leading the charge first.
And then heartbreaking for Carl Edwards on lap 106. Carl said it was just blowing up, and he is out.
He had a prolific hot rod today. He was absolutely flying. Carl probably had the best car of the season. Unfortunately, he has a little bit of engine trouble.
And that just goes to happen. It can happen to anyone at any time, like right here with Dale Earnhardt Jr., his 9th DNF in 2007.
He didn't have bad luck. He wouldn't have any luck at all, Susie. It's just too bad. Tough season for Earnhardt Jr.
Doc, so many storylines to face. The championship, top 10 going to New York City, top 35 for next year.
Susie and Brad, different strategies now. Remember, the top 9 guys have not pitted since lap 88. Jeff Gordon came on the pit road, as did Jeff Burton, Strimmy, Montoya, Biffle, Almirola, and Hamlin. So a little roll of the dice here, Andy.
I think this is a great move by Steve Letarte to go ahead and get his guy in there and get some tires on here. And then he can stay out when these guys make their next pit stop.
Let's talk to him and see why he did what he did. Dave Burke.
With it right now, Doc. Steve, why did you guys make the call to come in at this time?
Well, I just don't agree with those leaders staying out in the fuel window. Once you get about 30 or 35 laps in the fuel well, you're about 30 or 40% of the way into a run. I'd rather come in. We need to work on our car anyway, so we need to make some stuff happen. Getting off sequence might be the best thing that can happen for us.
Can you see the other guys ducking or not ducking on pit road, and did you base any of your decision on that?
No, I'm not worried about what the leaders do. We just got to race all race. We're either going to have a good enough car to make something happen or not.
24 on their plan, guys.
Andy, I asked you at the top of the show, these 2 guys in the same camp, the same equipment. How does one guy gain an edge? There you go.
This is how they do it. You just got to roll the dice on the strategy. I think it's a great move by Steve Letarte. It may work out, it may not, but hey, if you just keep doing the same things, you get the same result. So, hey, my hat's off to him.
Latest caution flag to spin by Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's standing by with Alan Bestwick.
And he has come from the infield care center. Junior, you look like you had your hands full out there. Tell us what happened.
I just lost it off of two there. I don't know. I guess we were struggling handling-wise, but we weren't too bad. We were kind of gaining on it, and just come around.
Thanks, sorry, you're out.
Not much more you can say than that, guys.
How far to my right rear did it get? He's got right here, right fender.
Jeff Gordon's radio, the 24 car, back in heavy traffic, mired back because of that pit stop.
This is the risky part of this move, is he's got to race a lot of cars.
Yeah, real close to top. 4.
We've already shown you how aggressive Juan Pablo Montoya has been today. We saw a little contact with Earnhardt Jr. earlier. Let's show you what happened a moment ago here back in this gaggle of cars, the 42 and the 24.
You see the two get together right there. The 42 car was just up on the outside of Jeff Gordon.
And guys, this is the risky thing. For him to get back in all this traffic, look at his 3 wide. Here's a championship contender bouncing off these guys just because he's trying to do some different strategy. Now that could have been a bad crash right there.
We heard him talking about his spotter, right, or talking to his spotter. Was I clear? Was he on my right rear? The problem is the spotters are in the middle of 1 and 2. They can't hardly see that angle there.
Jeff Gordon backed up a little bit there. Oh, a little bit of a jam in front of the 70 car. Sauter, the 42 of Montoya, has to slow down. And if you're Jeff Gordon, Rusty, you're tiptoeing right now back there among all these cars.
Well, he's tiptoeing a little bit, but the guys that he's racing with, they're probably nervous racing with him, knowing that he's a championship contender. They've got to run their race, and they don't want to take him out while all this is going on also. A little nervous for everybody right now.
And if I'm a crew chief, I'm saying you got to get out of this mess. You got to somehow get by some of these guys. You got a rookie running his first Cup race in Almirola back there. You got to get by. That's Almirola in the 0-1 right in front of him. Well, one of the stories of the weekend here at Phoenix has been the efforts of Kyle Busch, the young 22-year-old driver. There's Kyle just sailing by in the 5 car. He won the truck race Friday night. He won the Busch race here in dominant fashion on Saturday. He started back in 38th position, and right now he's being shown 5th.
Oh, boy, he has got a great handle on car. He's worked himself right through that traffic with not a whole lot of assistance from anything else except just hard driving. You know, he won the truck race, like you said, Jerry. He's got a lot of experience this week, the team does, with air pressures, the way the cars are handled. That Busch race yesterday. Man, he is not scared of nothing right now, Andy. He is really getting it.
Yeah, he's got the advantage here now of having some clean racetrack to run in with some of these guys. Off sequence on these pit stops. He's got a good track position. He can start working on these guys.
Martin Truex, who won with a Car of Tomorrow effort up in Dover at the beginning of the year. This is the 16th and final Car of Tomorrow race of 2017. Welcome back to the Checker Auto Parts 500. Heavy contact in the back straightaway. Jacques Villeneuve. Bill Davis Racing Toyota. One of the open-wheeled hot shoes, former Indy 500 winners, one of 3 in the field today, and he's had trouble, damage on the front and rear of his car.
Sorry, I was paying attention to the one inside. I never saw the one on the outside.
He got together with somebody off turn 2. Like one of the Evernham Dodges, maybe, he got together with.
Yeah, that exit of turn 2. I mean, that wall comes at you pretty quick, and there he was. There's Casey Keenan outside. Looks like he didn't see Casey. Pinched Casey in the wall, and Casey got his right rear quarter panel. Big wreck right there, guys. What about Kane?
Yeah, Casey got some damage here, too.
Yeah, but look how tough that car is again, Andy. It didn't tear it up like I thought it would.
Leaders on pit road down at 45 miles an hour. Alan Bestwick.
And Kurt Busch pits from 4th position. They're going to change the track bar 2 rounds down and make a 4-tire change here on the deuce.
And Jimmy Johnson making his way down pit road. We heard on the radio just a few moments ago, he said he needs to roll through the center better on both ends. So they're going to raise that pan-hard bar. That's something you hear from them quite a bit. We heard in practice yesterday. 4 tires, and he's down and away. Mike?
Kyle Busch saying his car is pretty good. Just a little bit tight. Could use some more grip, but no adjustment. Just 4 tires and fuel.
Working caution for the 6th time. Here come those leaders that finally have come on the pit road. Many of these cars had not pitted since lap 88. And there you see the big gainer there was Harvick up 3 spots. Bowyer up once. Kyle Busch back 2 positions. And of course, a number of the cars that just pitted out of sequence did not have to come on pit road. Phoenix International Raceway. Laps are clicking down. 130 laps to go. Matt Kenseth getting very close to that obligatory next pit stop, folks. He pitted on lap 110. Got to be, what, 10 or 11 laps maybe at most for Kenseth?
Yeah, about 10 or 11 laps he'll be due on pit road. I know he's hoping he'll get a caution. But he's going to have to come down pit road and get some fuel.
Well, the one thing I'm really impressed with, though, guys, look at the lead he's got. He's got about a 3.8-second lead, and that's about a straightaway. He is really, I mean, checked out on these guys, got that track position. Very important.
Pulling away on used tires. That could be a great music song. How about some great music, folks? The biggest stars on the planet come together with live performances by Rascal Flatts, Maroon 5, Lenny Kravitz, Fergie, Rihanna, and more. For the first time ever, your votes will decide who wins. Hosted by Jimmy Kimmel and broadcast live from Nokia Theater, LA. The American Music Awards coming up Sunday, November 18th on ABC. Top 10 competitors. Ryan Newman in the 12 car trying to make a move. They've been basically battling with Greg Biffle, and that has been for 5th spot.
Yeah, just trying to say back in the pack just a little bit. These two guys have been going at it side by side and can't seem to clear one another. Newman's been working the bottom side of the track. Greg Biffle on the top side. And he's getting a lot of momentum, Andy, up off the corners to keep in front of Newman.
That seems to be the thing, but they can move that groove up and use that momentum. You see these guys really going at it. I saw the smoke coming out again of the 16 cars. It keeps being a theme with this car tomorrow. It just seems like these cars are so equal. They're just right on top of each other. They get an advantage on each other.
You're exactly right. When you look at the lap times up here in our ESPN booth, you can see the times, the top 15 cars at times are almost identical. Very, very close. This new car tomorrow, they're almost identical cars, and that's the reason why.
Biffle slides up high, opens a door for Newman, and he will take the spot away.
Might have got a little too high on that run. Finally, Newman gets it.
Right behind this battle, guys, keep an eye out because the 20 car of Tony Stewart seems to be on the move. AB.
Yeah, he's a guy to keep an eye on right now, Doc. Running lap times as good as the leaders at some point. And in fact, a lot faster than the leader for a couple of laps here. Tony reporting just a little bit ago that his car, he said, is pretty reasonable balance-wise right now. That's pretty good praise for Stewart. Back on lap 87, they made a good stop. They lost 9 spots on pit road when a couple of lug nuts fell off as you watch Martin Truex passing Jeff Gordon. A couple of lug nuts fell off that 20 car. They've been digging out of that hole ever since.
Well, guys, right now, the 2 fastest cars in the track are Martin Truex and Tony Stewart.
17 car, your leader, Kenseth on pit road, jammed on the brakes, and he had to come in and make this green flag stop, getting down to 45 miles an hour. By the way, Jimmy Johnson will now get 5 points for leading in lap. He is the leader as Kenseth heads down to you, Dave Burns.
And they will take on 4 tires. They're going to make no changes to this race car, although Matt has been complaining that down in the shade of turn 1, his car is tough to turn. Down in the sunlight of turns 3 and 4, it gets out from under him, a little bit loose down there. But they believe that just changing the maybe a slight air pressure adjustment is all for the 17 car as he pits. Again, about 10 or 11 laps before the rest of the field will need to come in for fuel.
Kenseth down and away, coming off the 3 consecutive top 5 finishes for Kenseth, last 3 times out. And a near miss, guys, trying to slow down to get on the pit road. Watch this.
His tires are worn out, and he's trying to get all he can get to the entrance of pit road. And this, wow, he gets down on his apron. There's a lot of trash down there, and he about loses the car.
Yeah, just a little bit loose right there, guys. Just like you said, Andy, very slick down there on the entry. But they got to come at those cones as hard as they can so they don't lose much time.
If this thing will cycle through this green flag run, and all these other guys have to pit, this will be an actual advantage for the 17. You'll see him have even more lead than he had when he came in.
Remember, Jimmy Johnson now has led a lap, got the 5 bonus points. Top of your screen, Chase Tracker, the Chase Tracker, by the way, right beneath the race tracker. You see that Jeff Gordon now 55 points behind. Jamie Little.
Well, we heard it on the radio. Chad Canals telling Jimmy Johnson, I believe that's 5 points. They're very cognizant of every single point. That's how tight this competition is. Now, ironically enough, Jimmy Johnson was chasing Matt Kenseth. 1 year ago, they pace position. Matt Kenseth was second in the points, and I asked Chad Knaus about the difference from last year to this year. He said, you know, last year was a tough competition for us, but nothing has been like this competition up against the 24 at Jeff Gordon. He said it's so intense. He said, but they learned their lesson last year. They're more confident, and they're comfortable in the fact that they could win their second consecutive championship.
Jamie, indeed, they're trying to do it, and those 5 bonus points are very critical. I know you were well aware of that when you were trying to win a title coming to Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, I'm real aware of that because my pit crew's telling me, and I'm almost doing the calculations in my mind because I'm so excited about trying to win a championship. I'm thinking about it. The team's thinking about it. The spotter, everybody's keeping you well aware of where you're at.
Pretty good battle here, the 31 and the 40. Jeff Burton in the 31 car, and the 40 of David Strimmy. 07 is also right there, Clint Boyer. That's 12th, 13th, and 14th.
You know, we were talking a little bit earlier about how these guys are running at speeds. We're looking at Clint Boyer right now, and he keeps holding it in there pretty good. Right now, he's in 14th position. He's about a 10th of a second off the pace from the leaders. But again, Mark Truex, still the fastest car on the track right now, along with Tony Stewart.
Clint Boyer with Mike Massar.
Well, Doc, we talked about at the beginning of the show how as the sun set, the racetrack would change. And, well, that's pretty much what's happened to the car of Clint Boyer. It's gone from neutral to loose, and all of a sudden it's gotten tight. The only thing they can really attribute that to is rotor heat. That's what they think has caused the car to get real tight. But right now, Clint's having a difficult time trying to get that car to turn, especially in turns 1 and 2.
A lot of times you've got to, you overwork the front tires and it makes them build up. But these cars, this car tomorrow, you have to use so much brake that that heat just goes right into the wheel, overheats the front tires, makes them build up, and then you lose front grip because of the brake heat.
We talked a little earlier about the sun now in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Almost the whole entire center portion of the racetrack of 1 and 2 is shaded, which really makes the car tighter now.
Jeff Gordon really, really low on fuel now in the 24 car. Remember, he pitted on lap 121, whereas Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex came in on lap 140. Gordon stayed out. They rolled the dice, as you heard Steve Letarte say. Got to be coming in the next handful of laps, if not less.
Yeah, we're looking at about 10 laps or less than 10 laps before he has to pit, and then about another 15 laps before the other guys have to come in.
Well, these guys have been lucky and good all year long. And it wouldn't surprise me if a caution flag comes out pretty shortly to save him because he's been, sometimes it's your year. And the 48 and the 24, they've had a lot of breaks this year that really help him.
Well, that would actually kill the 17 car, Matt Kenseth, to have a caution come out right now. He's holding his breath. Him and Robbie Reiser are holding their breath, making sure, hoping this caution doesn't come out.
Lap 197 of 312. Remember what Alan Bestwick said about everybody watching that 220, 230 lap mark to be able to know they can roll the dice, and what a scramble that will be, folks. And that is rapidly approaching, but Jeff Gordon can't get there. He's going to have to slow down and head for pit road in the next 2 or 3 laps.
This time, Shannon, let him know we're coming, this time.
And how about next time, Bob?
Yep, that's when he's coming. Here comes the 16.
Here's Biffle on pit road. Biffle was running in 11th position. 31 of Jeff Burton also in the pits. There's Strimmy, you see, as the 31 of Burton makes his way down. These guys are just moving to the top 10. And here comes a 24 car of Jeff Gordon to make
Pit road, coming to you.
a pit stop. 45 miles an hour. Strimmy coming out. Gordon coming in.
Give you 4 tires.
Let's go down to Dave Burton.
And Doc, remember in Countdown, Jeff Gordon said last week we missed the setup. No talk like that this week. However, this car is loose everywhere. That wrench going in the rear window, 2 of them. One for a track bar adjustment, one for a reg adjustment. They'll also change 4 tires and try to get Jeff's car a little bit tighter, a little more comfortable underneath them so it doesn't spin out on him.
Yeah, great pit stop, 14.4 seconds. These guys didn't waste any time at all. Made the adjustments, and they got nothing to lose, Rusty.
No, they really don't. You saw them take the right rear track bar, and they screwed down on it 1 round, which makes the car tighter on the entry, on the exit of the corner. So that'll help it out.
Jeff Gordon has made a pit stop. Folks, being shown Back in the pack here, Gordon actually being shown a lap behind him for the other cycle to impede. He's 26th. And now look at the point standings. How that would, how that would change if we were to get a caution right now, and Gordon will be stuck a lap back.
Oh, I just started to say this would be a very nervous time right now for Jeff Gordon. He's 135 points behind. And Andy, you got Johnson coming in about 15 laps. So, I mean, they're hoping for this swap around pretty quickly.
Yeah, this is a real critical time for the 24 because this is probably the most critical part of the run. When you've got this many laps on the tires, you've got all kinds of problems that can happen during this run. Bring out a caution, so they're holding their breath big time.
McMurray was one of the lead lap cars. He was running in 20th position. He's now made his pit stop, lap 207. Jimmy Johnson is the leader. Johnson's last pit stop, lap 140. How far can they go?
Well, he's going to take it all the way if he's smart, because the way he could really wrap this thing up is to have a caution come out and keep Jeff Gordon down a lap.
So we'll take a quick break and come back and see if our leaders go. Hold on. NASCAR looking for debris on the racetrack, and we are told they've seen something fly off a car. They want to make sure it's not in the groove.
Jeff Gordon's praying it's not in the groove.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon is saying what debris? I don't see anything anywhere. And now the spotters are saying that they don't see anything on the racetrack.
Boy, if there had been debris in that, that's going to be big, boy. And there was a lot of nervous people now.
If he doesn't have enough to worry about, he's got Greg Biffle just chewing on his left rear corner right here.
Now, Biffle's been all over the back of Jeff Gordon right now, just wearing him out, making him loose, making him drive for it, that's for sure.
Remember, these are the guys that have been on pit road and made their pit stop. Sam Hornish. How about a pretty good day for Sam Hornish Jr., his first ever Cup start. And they made a big announcement last night over at the Penske Museum that Hornish is coming full-time to NASCAR's Nextel Cup in 2008. In fact, Hornish is going to drive the number 77 Mobil 1 Dodge next year after 8 successful years in the IRL IndyCar Series. He stalls the car a little bit. They're going to push it and get it going. Sam, the winningest driver in IRL IndyCar history and the 3-time champion, former Indy 500 winner.
And boy, while that's going on right now, you see Greg Biffle getting loose up off the corners and running right alongside Gordon. Andy, they've been doing this lap after lap.
I'm getting on the radio right now and say, hey, just let it go, man. We don't need to get wrecked and bring out a caution. The one caution we don't need, it certainly doesn't need to be us. So just let this guy go, man.
Yeah, because we talked all year long, these cars get aero loose side by side. So if that 16 sails it down in there and loses it, he's going to take Gordon out.
They got into him right there. That's a risky business for Jeff Gordon.
24 car currently back in 24th position. Biffle 26th. Jeff Burton, by the way, is also back there. He's already made a pit stop. Still waiting for Johnson, Truex, and Tony Stewart, by the way, running third. Ryan Newman fourth, and Kyle Busch is fifth. Those guys have yet to make a pit stop. Steve Letarte saying, oh my gosh, I hope we don't get a yellow flag. There's Jimmy Johnson. And probably Steve Letarte saying, come on, Jimmy, come on the pit road, you guys. Let's make that pit stop and get us back on the lead lap. More on Jimmy Johnson, then let's check in with Jamie.
Well, as this pit crew gets ready to set up for a pit stop here in about 10 laps or so, just wanted to add a little thing on Jack Knaus I found out. People want to know what makes him so good, how he is so good late in the race and makes all the right calls on pit road. Well, when I walked in to talk to him in the hauler yesterday, he was watching film of the spring race here, and I asked him why he does it. He said we do it every race. We watch what unfolds and what won a race and what they learn. So what he learned here, it's all about track position and all about timing and when you come into the pits. Guys, it's one of the many things that makes Jack Knaus as good as he is.
Well, he's a good one, that's for sure. I mean, that guy is so calculated. He focuses so much. He's in total control of this race, sitting on top of that box, looking at his driver, having communication with him. Definitely one of the best, that's for sure, guys.
Paul Menard, by the way, having a very good day. Menard being shown in 14th position, now coming on the pit road to make what could be maybe his final stop, depending upon how many caution laps we can possibly get. Probably can't make it the rest of the way. Kevin Harvick on pit road. Alan.
And going to come in and get a 4-tire change here. Harvick's crew has adjusted on this car several times today. Remember I said earlier, track position was what they were lacking. They really haven't had the opportunity to pull in strategy to get better track position. So everything he's gotten on the track today, he's gotten on the speedway. He's raced his way up to just outside the top 10.
Kyle Busch in for his pit stop. 96 laps to go. started back in 38th position, and he jammed those brakes on trying to get this Chevy slowed down to 45 before coming on the pit road. Let's go down to Allen for the Kurt Busch stop.
Yeah, Kurt called in just a little while ago. Actually, Pat Trice and Mikuchi called Kurt, and he said, we're going to pit about lap 220. And Kurt said, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be the caution before then. He's really been struggling with the handling of this car. Mike?
The only thing Kyle Busch really has been complaining about is how little the car's been able to turn in the corners. Still a little bit tight. This time, though, still no adjustment, just 4 tires and fuel on the 5.
Watch a moment ago, watch the 5 car come on the pit road realizing he's still trying to run 120 miles an hour. Just jam those brakes.
Well, he's taking a look at that cone right there. He knows he's got to have you slow down because the electronic timing devices that NASCAR has, it'll catch you if you're too fast. And there's no disputing that when that happens.
Jimmy Johnson projected
this
next
time,
pit
buddy,
stop.
If he can, but this time if he can.
Projected right now. He's coming down pit road.
Gap behind you there.
Boy, they're not going to. Jimmy Johnson's going to go in right now. He's not going to take advantage of how much fuel he's got left. Looks like they're going for some tires. Because he could have went about 8 laps farther.
Well, they were saying they could go about 8 laps farther. They might have been trying to just scare Jeff Gordon's team a little.
Well, I started to say the 48 car had a 24 of Jeff Gordon in a pressure cooker. Now it's his flop.
Tony Stewart on pit road for his stop. Let's go down to Jamie and Jimmy Johnson's pit.
And Jimmy Johnson said he's still a little free off, but he doesn't want to make too big of an adjustment to hurt that center roll, so they're just going to make an air pressure adjustment. And 4 tires for leader Jimmy Johnson. He's down.
Had a little problem with the right front with a lug nut, but they recovered well. They picked one up,
easy there for Miles.
stuck it on there.
Martin Truex was the leader when Johnson coming on the pit road. He comes in right in front of you, Jamie.
And Martin Truex Jr. been one of the men to beat today. He's in that same car he won at Dover with. He said the sun is getting really bad. You can see the tape on his front windshield there. He takes the strip off as the sun gets lower. Half up on that rear wedge and 4 tires for Martin Truex Jr. Doc?
Denny Hamlin in for his service now. Major chassis adjustments. They'll go to work on the track bar and on the left side with wedge. 4 tire change for Denny Hamlin and fuel. Cargo team going to work now on the left side as they make final movements on their service here down on pit road. The 11's away.
Hamlin down and away. Reed Sorensen would be scored as the leader as you see Hamlin exiting pit road. 90 laps to go next time by. Pit stops are cycling. There's the 41 car of Reed Sorensen. Driving for Chip Ganassi and Felix Sabates. Has yet to make his stop, and he will slow down right now and make his pit stop. They have cycled through as Sorensen comes down, and that will make Matt Kenseth, by the way, our new leader here at Phoenix with just 90 laps to go.
Doing a 4-tire stop. You see the tire carrier, Marty Forcier, putting that tire in there, and he's got to pick up this tire that comes off, get it to the wall, catch that other tire, help the left front tire changer, get it on in position, clean the grill.
Marty Forcier, a former 82nd Airborne Division U.S. Army veteran. And Marty wanted us to give a shout out to Bravo Company, his buddies that were stationed over in Italy. Great job by Marty, former Army veteran. Matt Kenseth, our leader here. Back at Phoenix International Raceway, Jimmy Johnson on the attack there with the 1 car. But folks, remember, 24 cars on the lead lap. A little contact, and if Johnson spins, he's 25th in a snap.
Well, he would be, Jerry, but he's been awful fast in the center of the corner right now. It looks like he's going to, he's barely clear Martin Truex. And there he goes. He got that clean air. And here he is going for 4 in a row right now.
Martin Truex in the Bass Pro Shop Chevy trying to reel him in, but he just can't get there. Here comes the 17 car. The Ford of Kenseth on the inside to take the 2nd spot away.
Matt Kenseth's not going to roll over for this guy. I'm telling you, he's tired of getting beat by this 48.
Well, you got that right. Right now, Kenseth and the number 1 car, Martin Truex, running side by side will let Jimmy get away. If they can stay racing side by side, Johnson can just get gone and not have to contend with him.
back and forth position at Stewart. Biffle in the 16 car. Great run for Greg Biffle.
Yeah, right now, Biffle's last lap at 29.06, and that is right at 1/10 of a second faster than anybody on the racetrack right now.
You know, Greg Biffle's a hungry race car driver, too. He wants to get up here and dice with these guys. He's got a fast car. He's running down.
Oh, he's got time. 21 laps to go. He can get past these guys, but he's just got to pick a lane where nobody else is at and start working on it.
There's a look at Biffle in the 16 car. Arizona's been awfully good to him. He was discovered by running short track races in Tucson years ago. There's a 17 car going on around. Here comes the 1 car of Truex back on the inside.
No crossover move. Matt went in the corner real hard and slipped up in front of him on Truex.
And that reminds me of turn 1 at Darlington, South Carolina, the crossover there. Jamie?
Talk about a race within a race, guys. Martin Truex Jr. racing to get the top 10 in points and go to New York City and celebrate this year that they've had. They've reached all their goals, and that's the last one they won. Now his crew chief, Bono, known, that's what we call him, Kevin Mannion, he told me, I think people look at Martin Truex like, oh yeah, he barely made it in the chase and he's gonna finish last. He said, we want to prove people wrong. And guys, the way he's racing, I think a lot of people know that Martin Truex Jr. is here to stay as the face of DEI.
Martin Truex, Jamie, 11th right now in the points. Remember, only the top 10 go to New York and get to be on the stage. He's trying to get in the top 10.
Boy, Greg Biffle is sailing down into turn 3 in the top side of Tony Stewart. He's making it work. And look at this. He's going after Martin Truex right now, guys.
And he's got this baby rolling.
I mean, a lot of momentum. You know, Greg's been able to make the car work on the top side, not the preferred part of the racetrack. The shortest way around is dead on the bottom. But like we talked all day long, a lot of momentum on the top of that track.
Looks like this racetrack's come around for, you know, this sunshine has gone away. We've got shade all around. Probably come around for Biffle's car here to change his car. Maybe he's better now.
Well, Andy, you're exactly right, because the complete turn 1 and 2 now is completely shaded. A lot of grip down there, a lot of grip on the extra turn 2, but we still got sun on the entrance of turn 3 and all through 3 and 4.
We know where Jimmy Johnson is. He's leading, but what about the 24 cars? There is Jeff Gordon, who's had his hands full back in 10th place. Dave.
And, Doc, that means he's only passed 3 cars since the restart. And something we said at the beginning of the broadcast bears repeating. Jeff himself said with this car and this racetrack, unless you have something really good, it's hard to come through the field. As Greg Biffle now gets around Martin Truex Jr. He had something pretty good, which was 4 tires versus some of the 2 tires, but that's not really good enough at this point. Still locked back in traffic.
Well, when you got a car that's just a little bit off like Jeff Gordon's is, you can't maneuver it and you can't pass cars. You got to have it so that front end sticks real good so you can pull it down from underneath the car. And Jeff's car is just not good enough. It can run fast by itself, but it can't pass anybody.
Not like this 16 car. He can drive this thing just about anywhere. He's passing them high and passing them low.
Every single lap, the rear end of this 16 car is jumping out, but why it's doing that, Andy? It is flat going forward.
Fastest car on the racetrack last time by.
And you know what they're telling them that, too? They're saying, Craig, pedal hard, buddy. 15 laps to go. You can do it. You got the fastest car on the track.
Years ago, ESPN had a show called Winter Heat. They went to Tucson to a short track to air some races during the wintertime. And Benny Parsons saw Greg Biffle run the short tracks and drew the attention of Biffle to one Jack Roush, and that's how Biffle got his big break.
And then I heard Biffle wrecked a lot of cars, and then Jack Roush tried to beat up Benny because of that. Is that right?
Yeah, a couple of them were my cars. He drove my car when he was a rookie.
Tony Stewart now making the move as the 20 car goes by the 1 for position. So it is Johnson the leader, Kenseth, then Biffle, then Stewart, then Truex.
Biffle's still the fastest car last time by, so he's still catching these guys.
And boy, you got Matt Kenseth on the top of the racetrack, working all the lines. And take a look at Tony Stewart. He's holding on right now. He's got around Martin Truex. Newman hasn't gave up anything yet either. He's working the top side of the track now.
What has given up are the tires on that 1 car. Martin Truex held in there pretty good for a little while, but looks like those tires are gone now.
13 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson has won 3 in a row. The last driver in NASCAR Cup competition to win 4 in a row was guess who?
His teammate.
Jeff Gordon back in 1998. And by the way, that was the year Jeff Gordon won his 2nd championship in a row, which is exactly what Jimmy Johnson is trying to do in 2007.
Boy, Jerry, Jeff Gordon is over close to 9 seconds behind the leader. And he is so far behind Jimmy Johnson right now. A little while ago, he wasn't even in the picture. off day for Jeff Gordon right now.
A week ago, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon both went to Texas. Neither had won there, and Jimmy Johnson came away with his first win at Texas. Coming into Phoenix, Jimmy Johnson had never won here. He's got 11 laps to hang on to change that mark in the record books.
Well, he's been changing a lot of the records in the record book here lately.
Well, one thing I've noticed, guys, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson's two cars were pretty close at the beginning of this race. But as this sun starts setting, it really has changed the cars a lot. It's made Jimmy Johnson's car just take off, and it's really killed Jeff Gordon's.
Harvick in the 29 car trying to make a move. This is a battle, by the way, for 6th position as Ryan Newman has now gone by Truex for 5th spot. Kevin Harvick won both events here at Phoenix a year ago. Won the spring event, actually won Busch and Cup in the spring, and then won the Fall Cup race.
Kevin's always been good at this racetrack. He's one of the best short trackers around it. And I know this is a 1-mile track, but it drives like a short track. It's flat, you run real soft springs, and a lot of things are similar. Island?
Rusty, Kevin Harvick said before this race that they were going to use this Phoenix event as a measuring stick. He said, if we don't run well, we know we need to work on our stuff. We should run in the top 5. If we don't, we're going to be disappointed. I guess they know measuring themselves against that 48 car, they've got a little work to do before they start racing this car full-time next season.
Well, they're not the only ones out there that have some work to do. Looks like a lot of guys got some catching up to this Hendrick bunch.
Biffle now easing in on the 17 car for 2nd position. Just 8 laps ago, it'll be 7 this time by.
Boy, guys, these Roush cars running so well right now, it's not a surprise at all. Remember, Carl Edwards early in this race, he was just killing everybody before he had his engine problem. You know, we talked a lot about Hendrick Motorsports, but these guys from Roush have got some good handling cars.
I bet you Biffle's going, come on, Matt, give me a shot at him. Give me a shot.
Yeah, he's like, come on, man, I can do it. And it looks like Matt might give him a little shot right here, let him give a little break. But
Biffle on the inside, car slides up and can't make the pass.
They're still catching Jimmy Johnson. Even though these guys have been racing, you can see, you know, Biffle can just see Jimmy Johnson right ahead of him.
But Andy, if they stay racing each other side by side, you know it slows them down. They can't run them down. Boy, look at this.
Looked like Matt Kenseth drove in the corner too hard, slid up, and made the opening there for Greg Biffle.
Now, does he have enough time? 6 laps to go, and Biffle's got about 10 car lengths to make up.
He's faster, but he's still got some ground to make up.
Maybe that's 15 car lengths.
Well, Jerry, the next time they come by, we'll get a good read up here in the booth of the speeds on the racetrack to see if he's indeed catching them or not. It might have leveled out now.
Jimmy Johnson might have just said, okay, look in the mirror, okay, he got by there, so I got to turn the wick up. Last time by Jimmy Johnson and Greg Biffle ran exactly the same lap time.
Thousandths of a second.
Unbelievable. 29:22.8 for both of the cars. I haven't seen that all day long. Now, with that going on, you can't pass him by there, right?
I think Jimmy's just keeping him just far enough back there.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson, what a performance down the stretch.
Right now, 86 points over his teammate Jeff Gordon. So a big gainer for Jimmy Johnson today in this chase for the Nextel Cup Championship.
Jimmy Johnson led the points only 4 weeks all year long. He took over the points lead after Richmond, after New Hampshire, after Kansas City, and again, he was 9 points back going into Texas last week. Whoa, Johnson hanging on.
It doesn't look like he's cruising to this victory, I can tell you that. He's still driving hard. He looked in that mirror and saw that red car of Greg Biffle's and he said, uh-oh, better go.
You know, he told us last week after the race was over, he said, man, I'm not messing around. I am going for it. And he went for it today. 3 laps to go, guys. 3 laps to go.
Time by.
Total focus, total concentration by Jimmy Johnson trying to win his 2nd championship, trying to hang on for 2 more laps.
And I said, when it's your year, it's your year. Boy, if he wins his 4th in a row, Andy, that is a convincing fashion. And a guy deserves to win a championship.
Behind you, coming to the white here, buddy. Nice and smooth.
Gotta believe every noise inside the car is amplified. He knows his teammate Jeff Gordon is faded back to 10th spot. He knows he'll open up a significant points lead. With one race to go, white flag for Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson off of turn 2, trying to do what hasn't been done since 1998, trying to win 4 in a row. As Johnson takes it down less than half a lap away from the checkered flag.
Dude, you are incredible. Awesome job today. Good job. Boys, I love you, man. God, you're awesome. You give me something to race every week. Thank you. You're the man. You awesome. Awesome. Great job, Jimmy, Chad. An incredible job. Incredible pit stop today, guys. That's what did that. Pit stop, Jimmy. Awesome driver, my friend. Awesome. That was...
And Jimmy Johnson gets a big kiss from his wife, pulls into victory lane, just shaking your head like, I can't believe we're here for the 4th time. Jimmy, how do you keep racing like that, like you have nothing to lose?
I don't have a clue. I know one thing, and I just go out and do my job and give it all that I can. And I'm lucky to be in cars that are capable to win races and having pit stops and a pit crew that can put me in that position. So I'm dumbfounded, and I don't mean to not have a ton of excitement right now, but I'm just as shocked as everyone watching and couldn't be more proud of this race team.
86 points now over Jeff Gordon going into Homestead. What's going to happen?
It's kind of where we were last year. So we'll just have to go down there and be smart and just kind of see how it shakes out. But I'm just excited to do this for Rick, for Hendrick Motorsports, and all the hard work that goes into it. Lowe's and all their employee owners. We're giving everybody something to cheer about, and we're having a damn good time doing this.
Jimmy, you said you were in this position last year. What did you learn in this situation last year that could help you going into Homestead this time?
Homestead's going to be a stressful race weekend. Last year, it was pretty stressful. So, we got 7 more days until we do it again. I'll just try to keep my mind clear and worry about the things that I can control. Make sure my guys and my team are all doing the same thing, and then just focus on next weekend.
I know it's looking ahead, but you have 4 in a row. Nobody's ever won 5 in a row. Do you think about the record?
Let's go. I mean, we've done 4. You got to have 4 before you have 5, right?
That's right. Congratulations. Jimmy Johnson victorious for the 4th time in 4 races, Doc.
Rick Hendrick's cars, 18 wins in 35 starts. Let's check in where Alan is caught up with Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon, 10th place today, not the day you were looking for at the start. Tell us about your race.
Unless you lead every lap and beat Jimmy Johnson and win the race, we don't have a shot at it, man. I tell you, those guys are on an unbelievable roll, and whatever they've got, we're missing. We know everything. I'm not hitting on it, and it's unfortunate, Another one, and we're just coming up short here at the crucial time. But those guys have just knocked it out of the ballpark, and it's going to be tough to beat that, even if we were hitting on all 8 cylinders. And another top 10, but still just not a day good enough to get it done.
You had a little contact with Kevin Harvick late in the race before the final pit stop. How much did that affect your car?
It didn't affect it. I mean, it's no big deal. Kevin and I, you can't touch Kevin Harvick, because you touch him, he's got a short fuse. He gets pretty upset, and he rubbed on me because I was racing him too hard, I guess, and I didn't like it either. So I rubbed back on him, and I thought we were going to all wreck. So, it is what it is. That didn't affect us in any way about where we finished today. We were going backwards at that time anyway, and we just weren't getting a handle on it. And we took 4 tires hoping that would pay off for us, but traffic was just so horrendous, and track position, all that, we just couldn't get up there.
It looks like it's 86 points going down to South Florida. Your thoughts?
It's over. It's over. I mean, even if we win it, it's because they have problems, and while we'll accept it, we don't want to do it that way. And those guys have flat out killed everybody, and you got to give credit where credit's due. Those guys deserve a lot of credit. We didn't step up, and win the races when we needed to. We gave them a run for a while, and now we got to figure out how to get the best finish we can at Homestead and end the season off on a positive note going to the off season.